Can you believe it's been 5 years since the Me Too movement launched a wave of accusations against some big-name celebs? So where are they now? Well, Harvey Weinstein was convicted of rape and is serving 23 years in prison. Kevin Spacey was recast in a film but was kicked off House of Cards. He's currently facing sexual assault charges in the UK. Matt Lauer lost his Today Show gig after being accused of inappropriate sexual behavior in the workplace. And some stars, like James Franco, who was accused of sexual misconduct, have now been cast in new projects, like the upcoming Fidel Castro movie. Louis C.K., don't forget him, he won a Grammy and is set to play Madison Square Garden next year after he admitted to making inappropriate sexual advances to women. What determines whether someone is cancelable, uncancelable, or when they become uncanceled? What do you guys think?
I think it has a lot to do with the networks and people who support the media, right? So when I mean that, if you are a big enough star where you have millions, tens of millions of followers on your social media, you could monetize that. Meaning like Louis C.K., he doesn't need the machine. He doesn't need ABC. He doesn't need Entertainment Tonight promoting his movie. He's got his podcast. He just sold a movie and he could sell out arenas. He doesn't need the machine to back him up. In that case, you are uncancelable because you have your little clique of an audience, right? And you don't need anyone to support you. On the other hand, these networks now are cutting off their nose to spite their face because now they're losing money by not taking these celebrities. Dave Chappelle, oh, you don't like what he said here? Well, we're going to cancel him because we're going to do the right thing. Really? He went across the street and sold out in a second. So you just cut your nose off to spite your face. That's what I feel like networks are doing. And now, to try to get people back, they're just being hypocrites because they're like, well, you know what? James Franco could make us some money. So what he did in the past, even though we did the right thing by canceling him, he could make us some money, so let's let him do Fidel Castro. So all this big movement that people made about this cancel culture and making America right is just really showing the hypocrisy in Hollywood and who people really are.
Yeah, I mean, it's everything mixed in there. We're talking about human beings. So there's going to be favoritism, there's going to be bias. But at the same time, we have to sit back for 1 second because human beings, we never talk about the positive. For the most part, I think the Me Too movement was very successful. I think things have changed at work. When I first heard the term, I was like, what does that mean? And then I talked to women that I respected, and my jaw hit the floor about the things that you guys were so casual about telling me about things that your bosses do when you were 16, 18, 20. So there has been an incredibly huge footstep put down in terms of the young women coming behind us. But as we look in the present, Erica gets a little bit more murky because there's bias. Are you going to uncancel James Franco? Well, he's a young person with a whole career, and he's got a fan base because he's extremely talented and very attractive, and people like to look at him when he's on the screen. Somebody's going to give him a job. Harvey Weinstein literally looks like a warthog. It was easy to get rid of him. You know, he'd already made money for people. He was a horrible person. You can get rid of him. So there's always going to be this like
right. Yeah, and let me clarify too before, like the Harvey Weinsteins, the Bill Cosby's, the people who did these egregious offenses. Please don't think I'm supporting them in any way. I'm talking about the lesser people of the crime that was
less egregious.
Right, that wasn't so black and white.
What do you think, Erica?
I don't think we know what the Me Too movement truly has done. It's like, this is something that it's almost like a legacy answer. Like, you don't know until, 10, 20, a generation has gone by to be like, this was the moment in history when the pendulum swung in the way of equality, in the way of, the idea that women and men should be able to go to work and not face sexual harassment or worse.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm comfortable with saying what the impact of cancel culture and the Me Too movement has been.
It's almost kind of meta because we're in it right now. But I will say the words Me Too, let's not forget how that started. Someone said something on Twitter and how many millions of people said Me Too. It made me feel less alone. It made me feel like I was heard.
Sorry you guys had to go through that.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm glad it's more out there. Appreciate it.